Romance of the Three Kingdoms, Chapter 59.
Cao facing, well, a truly dire situation.
Yeah.
Picture the scene, if you will. Armies locked in this brutal stalemate, right? The Wei River is their backdrop.
Classic Three Kingdoms setup.
And Ma Chao, leading the Western Liang forces, he has Cao's army on the absolute back foot. Just relentless attacks at Weiku.
It's a classic hero in peril moment, isn't it?
Yeah.
Cao, always the pragmatist. He initially tries to establish a strong position, defensible.
Right, the bridges.
Exactly. 3 pontoon bridges across the Wei River, sets up these elaborate camps, even uses grain carts as extra barrier.
Even logistics.
Totally. It wasn't just about presence, it was securing supply lines, thinking about maneuver, maybe even a controlled retreat. He's planning for the long haul.
But Ma Chao and his ally Han Sui, they're no slouches. They show some real tactical smarts here.
Oh, absolutely. They immediately spot Cao's vulnerabilities.
And exploit them.
Swiftly and devastatingly. They don't just poke at the camps, they use bundles of grass and fire.
Ah, the fire attack?
Yeah, targeting those crucial floating bridges and the grain cart barriers. It's a calculated strike right at Cao's logistical heart.
Ouch.
Yeah. His camps, vehicles, bridges, all destroyed. Cao's army is in disarray, supply lines cut, and he's personally deeply worried, existential threat worried.
So he's staring down this potential catastrophe, needs a new plan fast.
Desperately.
And his brilliant strategist, Sun Yu, comes up with something that sounds, well, deceptively simple. Build an earth fort using sand from the river.
Right. Sounds easy enough on paper.
But it was anything but, wasn't it? What was the big challenge?
Well, it was immense. Almost impossible, really. He assigns 30,000 soldiers to this huge task.
30,000?
Yeah, but Ma Chao immediately sends Pang De and Ma Dai, 2 tough generals, each with 500 cavalry.
Just to harass them.
Exactly. Constant, relentless harassment. Not trying to win a big battle, just disrupt, demoralize, stop the construction. And worse, the soil itself is the enemy. That sandy riverbank soil, it's inherently unstable, just wouldn't hold a structure, kept collapsing.
So the fort just crumbles as they build it?
Pretty much. Cao, despite all his strategic brilliance, he's completely stuck.
Yeah.
Physically and, psychologically cornered.
Okay, this is where this story takes that really unexpected, almost fated turn. Cao's feeling utterly despondent. It's late September, weather's turning bitterly cold, overcast.
Yeah.
And then this mysterious figure just appears in his camp.
Yeah, this is a fascinating bit. A moment where the grim reality of war kind of meets the wisdom of nature.
Tell us about this character, Lu Zibo.
Right, so an elder, identified as Lu Zibo, a hermit from Zongyan Mountain, just comes forward.
A hermit.
Yeah, and the source describes him, quite poetically, crane bones, pine posture, and ancient appearance.
Wow.
It's cultural shorthand, you
Yeah.
know. Suggests deep wisdom, maybe spiritual cultivation, definitely a connection to nature. He's not a military guy. And he questions Cao, but not with tactics. It's almost philosophical. Why aren't you using these conditions to build your fort?
And Cao's probably thinking, what conditions? The sand's impossible.
Exactly. He explains the problem, the unstable sand. But Lu Zibo sees something else entirely, something Cao's brilliant team missed.
What did he see?
He saw the weather not as an obstacle, but as a tool, a resource. He saw the heavenly timing.
Heavenly timing.
Yeah, Cao's guys were thinking traditional engineering. Lu Zibo, he's thinking differently, leveraging the environment.
Wow.
He connects the overcast days, the coming strong north wind, to a great freeze.
Ah, the cold.
Precisely. His advice: get your soldiers carrying soil and pouring water immediately.
Pouring water on sand.
Yes. Because the key insight is that the intense cold and that strong north wind would freeze the sand and water solid overnight.
Building a frozen earth fort?
Essentially, yeah.
Right.
Not building despite the cold, but because of it.
Yeah.
Using nature's power.
And it works.
It works spectacularly. That night, the north wind just rages, freezing cold.
Okay.
The soldiers, they're desperate. They don't even have proper buckets, apparently. They resort to using silk bags to pour water onto the soil.
Silk bags. Wow.
Welding as it freezes, layer by icy layer. And by morning, the impossible is done. The sand and water are frozen solid. The fort is complete, unyielding.
Incredible. Oh, what does Ma Chao think when he sees this?
His reaction is priceless. He's greatly astonished, utterly bewildered, and he suspects divine aid.
Can't blame him.
Right. This impossible task, suddenly a complete solid fort. It completely flips the script. A huge psychological blow to Ma Chao. It shows how, insight can sometimes just trump brute force.
So with the fort miraculously finished, the tables have truly turned.
Big time.
Next day, Ma Chao's army advances, drums beating, but maybe with a bit less confidence now.
You'd think so, yeah. A tangible sense of unease, probably.
And Cao, emboldened, makes this really bold move. He rides out of his new fort, seemingly alone.
Well, almost alone.
Almost. Who's with him?
It's one general, but it's a critical one, Xu Chu.
Xu Chu.
So Cao, with only Xu Chu standing behind him, rides out defiantly, challenges Ma Chao, points out, hey, my impossible fort, it's done.
That's some serious nerve, almost taunting him.
Totally. Ma Chao naturally is enraged. This sudden shift, this brazen display, he intends to capture Cao right then and there.
But he stops.
He pauses, yeah. He notices Xu Chu. The description is great. Wide, glaring eyes, holding this formidable steel blade.
Okay.
And then Ma Chao asks this crucial question. I hear your army has a tiger Hao. Where is he?
The Tiger Hao? How did Ma Chao even know that nickname? That's fascinating.
It's a great question, isn't it? How does a nickname like that cross enemy lines? It suggests Xu Chu's reputation was already, well, legendary.
Maybe from previous battles. Or just soldier talk.
Could be reports, could be the sheer terror he inspired. Yeah, whispers of this dominant warrior. Anyway, Ma Chao asks.
And Xu Chu
doesn't hesitate. Cries out, I am Xu Chu of Kiaojun. And his eyes are said to shoot forth divine light, this awe-inspiring aura. It's a direct challenge.
Wow, so what does Ma Chao do? He's known for his ferocity, too.
But even he is visibly shaken here. He actually hesitates, then reins in his horse and withdraws.
Withdraws, just like that.
Just like that. Even the two armies watching, ready for battle, are apparently greatly astonished, utterly bewildered.
That's incredible. It's like psychological warfare won that round.
Almost, yeah. It's a massive testament to Xu Chu's presence. His sheer aura was enough to deter Ma Chao in that moment.
Does Cao acknowledge this?
Oh, yeah. He remarks to his general something like, see? Even the enemy knows Zheng Kang, that's Xu Chu's courtesy name, the formal one, is Tiger Hao.
Also, the name sticks.
Officially. From that day on, Xu Chu is formally known as Tiger Hao throughout Cao's army. His legend cemented by this bloodless confrontation. It's not just a nickname anymore. It's an honorific born from enemy fear.
Okay, so the psychological stage is set. The tension is palpable. Xu Chu, now officially Tiger Hao, is probably burning to prove that title in actual combat, right? Against Ma Chao himself.
Exactly. He's eager. He sends a direct challenge to Ma Chao, even though Cao warns them, like, hey, don't underestimate Ma Chao. He's incredibly brave.
But Xu Chu insists.
He does. Vows to fight to the death. It shows his loyalty, his pride. He needs this fight.
And Ma Chao's reaction.
He gets the challenge and he's furious. Sees it as a personal insult from this Tiger Hao.
Right.
So in his reply, Ma Chao pledges to kill Tiger Fool.
Tiger Fool.
Uh-huh.
That's interesting. From Hao Marquis to Chi, Fool Idiot.
It's a fascinating play on words, isn't it? Shows Ma Chao's anger, but maybe also a kind of grudging, frustrated respect for Xu Chu's, like, reckless, untamed ferocity.
Like, he's crazy, but wow.
Something like that, yeah. So it's set. A duel where personal honor is absolutely on the line.
Okay, the next day, armies arrayed. Air thick with anticipation.
You can imagine.
Ma Chao calls out for Tiger Fool. He's flanked by Pandey and Ma Dai.
Ready for backup, maybe?
Xu Chu, after maybe a strategic pause from Cao, or perhaps genuine concern,
It could be either.
rides out, sword in hand. And what follows is just legendary.
Truly. The first round of combat is incredibly long. Over 100 passes.
100 rounds.
Yeah, and neither gains any real advantage. It's an extraordinary display of skill, strength, endurance.
They must have been exhausted.
Totally. So exhausted, they actually return to their lines, swap for fresh horses.
And go back out.
Immediately for a second round, which also goes on for over 100 passes with no clear winner.
That's insane. 200 rounds total.
Roughly, yeah. It just highlights the exceptional, almost superhuman level these two are operating at. Peak martial arts.
Okay, but after 200 rounds, something snaps in Xu Chu, doesn't it?
Yeah, something primal erupts. He charges back to his own lines.
And then does the unthinkable, the image everyone remembers.
Precisely. In this fit of sheer battle fever, Xu Chu strips off his armor.
Strips it off mid-battle.
Yep. Literally bares his chest to the enemy, reveals this body of, bulging muscles, and charges back in, bare-chested, holding only his sword.
Tititero. Bare-chested, carrying his sword.
That's the one. The armies on both sides are just stunned. dumbstruck by this raw, almost animalistic display. It's one of the most iconic scenes in the whole novel.
What a statement. My raw power is enough.
Exactly. It's pure courage, pure ferocity, total disregard for his own safety.
So does it work? The duel continues.
It continues for another 30-plus rounds. Brutal stuff. Xu Chu, full of this raw might, swings his sword at Ma Chao.
But Ma Chao's quick.
Very quick. He dodges and thrusts his spear right at Xu Chu's exposed chest. But Xu Chu's reaction is astonishing. Pure instinct, immense strength. He drops his sword.
Drops it.
And grabs the spear shaft with his bare hand.
In the way.
Yes, they wrestle for it on horseback, a desperate tug of war. And then with this loud crack, Xu Chu's sheer power breaks the spear shaft in two.
He broke the spear.
Snapped it. Then they keep fighting with the broken halves. Ma Chao with half a spear, Xu Chu with the other half.
That's just unbelievable desperation and fury.
It's beyond normal combat at this point. Pure struggle for dominance.
Okay, Cao must be terrified for Xu Chu now.
Visibly. After that display, seeing him fight bare-chested and now with a broken spear, he finally sends in reinforcements. Sha Huan and Cao Hong.
To save Xu Chu.
Had to. But Ma Chao's generals, Pang De and Ma Dai, they react instantly, lead their cavalry in.
So it just dissolves into chaos.
Utter chaos. The duel becomes a desperate melee. Xu Chu actually gets wounded in the confusion, hit by 2 arrows.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And Cao Cao's forces suffer heavy losses overall. They're forced to retreat back into their camp.
So Ma Chao wins this engagement.
He does. Pursues them right up to the moat. A clear, though maybe costly, victory for the Western Liang forces in this particular battle. It shows even legendary duels don't happen in a vacuum.
Right. But despite the chaotic end and Ma Chao winning the battle, what he says about Xu Chu afterwards,
Yeah.
that's really telling.
Incredibly telling. Speaks volumes about the respect forged in that fire.
What does he say?
He gets back to Weiku, talks to Han Sui, and says, "I have never seen such a fierce fighter as Xu Chu. Truly a tiger fool." That's it. High praise, even with the fool still in there, coming from the enemy who just fought him tooth and nail. It solidifies Xu Chu's legend, not just in his army, but among his foes, too. That mutual awe. Cao Cao actually getting a good look at Ma Chao up close. And the source material, it paints this amazing picture.
What does it say?
Ma Chao, leading hundreds of cavalry, just rides straight for Cao Cao's camp, moving like lightning. It's not subtle, it's a show of force.
Designed to intimidate, you mean?
Absolutely. And Cao Cao, well, he's not usually easily rattled, is he? But here, his reaction is really telling.
What does he do?
He's genuinely shaken. He actually throws his helmet on the ground and shouts something like, "If Mayer doesn't die, I'll have no burial place."
Wow, that's intense. What does that really tell us about Ma Chao's reputation?
It says everything, doesn't it? It highlights the sheer threat Ma Chao represented. For Cao Cao, this, usually confident leader, to show that kind of fear, it underlines Ma Chao's incredible skill and fearsome reputation. He wasn't just another enemy.
He was a serious, maybe even existential threat to Cao Cao.
Precisely. And then one of Cao Cao's own generals, Shiho Yuan, he kind of takes Cao Cao's fear personally.
Right, he gets fired up.
Totally. She gets enraged, grabs over 1,000 men, and just impulsively charges out, yelling something like, "I'd rather die than fail to kill this bandit, ma."
Uh-oh. So a rash move.
Very rash. And Cao Cao, probably thinking, oh no, what's he doing, feels forced to follow with support just to protect his general.
Which puts Cao Cao himself in danger.
Exactly. And this creates chaos. Ma Chao sees Cao Cao there in the thick of it and immediately switches targets. He abandons the fight with Xiao Yuan and goes straight for Cao Cao.
Making a direct charge at Cao Cao himself.
Yeah. The text says Cao Cao is greatly alarmed. He has to flee. His army gets totally disorganized. It's Ma Chao at his most dangerous, showing his strength against the big boss himself.
Okay, so it looks like a disaster for Cao Cao.
Yeah.
But this chaos actually becomes an opportunity.
Kind of surprisingly, yes. Right when Ma Chao is hot on Cao Cao's heels, chasing him down, news arrives.
What news?
That another one of Cao Cao's armies, this one led by Xu Huang and Zhu Ling, has sneakily crossed the river to the west. and they set up a camp.
Ah, a flanking move.
Unexpected. Completely unexpected, and the source says this greatly alarms Ma Chao. Suddenly, the chase doesn't seem so important.
He breaks off the pursuit.
Instantly, he loses the will to keep chasing Cao Cao and pulls back to go talk things over with Han Su.
So that hidden river crossing, setting up a potential pincer attack,
Yeah.
that's Cao Cao's first real strategic win here.
Exactly. It wasn't about winning a direct fight at that moment. It was about creating a new threat, something Ma Chao hadn't planned for.
It forces Ma Chao to change his focus, his priorities.
Right. Think about it, how fast things can shift. Not always by a big clash, but by one clever move that changes the whole strategic picture. Like threatening the queen in chess. It forces your opponent to react.
A brilliant opening move, forcing Ma Chao onto the back foot. Okay, so Ma Chao retreats. What happens back in their camp?
Well, Ma Chao explains the situation to Han Sui. Look, Cao Cao's guys are across the river now. We're vulnerable. We could get hit from the front and the rear.
They're caught in the middle. The text has that phrase, doesn't it?
Exactly. Caught between two enemies. Their tactical situation just got, really dicey.
So what do? They're feeling the pressure.
Well, this difficult position opens the door for Cao Cao's next play. One of their subordinates, a guy named Liu Khan, suggests maybe they should try for a truce.
A truce, like sue for peace.
Sort of. He suggests they offer to cede territory and seek peace. Basically, buy some time, get through the winter, then figure out a new plan in the spring.
Makes sense from their perspective, maybe. Do they agree?
Han Sui agrees, yeah, and so do some other generals. It seems pragmatic, but it's also, a sign that they feel cornered.
So they send an envoy.
Right. Han Sui sends Yang Qiu over to Cao Cao's camp. He's got a letter proposing peace, offering up land.
And Cao Cao, the master schemer, what's his reaction?
He doesn't jump at it, but he doesn't slam the door either.
Yeah.
He tells Yang Qiu, basically, go back, I'll give you an answer tomorrow. Buys himself time to think.
And who does he talk to? This is where Ji comes in, right?
Exactly. He immediately calls in his top strategist, Jiru. And Jiru gives him that famous piece of advice. The art of war is never to tire of deceit.
Never tire of deceit. Okay, so what's Ji's plan?
It's brilliant. He says, look, pretend to agree to the peace, act like you're accepting their offer, but then use a disunion plot.
A disunion plot. What does that mean exactly?
It means sowing suspicion between Han Sui and Ma Chao, drive a wedge between the allies, make them distrust each other, then there'll be easy pickings.
Attacking the alliance itself, not the armies directly. Why is that so effective against allies?
Because trust is the glue holding them together, right?
Yeah.
If you can dissolve that trust, the alliance just falls apart. It targets their core vulnerability.
And Cao Cao's reaction to this idea?
He's absolutely delighted. The text says he claps his hands, exclaims, "One He's plan is exactly what's on my mind." It shows that incredible synergy between commander and strategist.
They're perfectly aligned on this deceptive approach.
Totally. So, to sell this fake peace deal, Cao Cao sends back a reply. He agrees to gradually retreat, promises to return the land west of the river.
He makes it sound convincing.
Oh, he goes all out. He even ordered his men to start building a pontoon bridge, like he's really preparing to pull back across the river. It's pure theater.
A very elaborate show.
Huh.
But what about Ma Chao? He seemed pretty sharp earlier. Does he buy it?
Not entirely. Ma Chao is still wary. He tells Han Sui, look, Cao Cao is a cunning hero, hard to fathom. He suspects a trick.
So what does he propose?
He suggests they hedge their bets. Divide forces to guard against his deception. Basically, one of them keeps an eye on Cao Cao's main force, the other watches Zhu Huang's force across the river. Take turns.
And Han Sui agrees to this.
Yeah, Han Sui goes along with it. It seems like a reasonable precaution.
But isn't it interesting how Ji's plan works, even with Ma Chao being suspicious? Ma Chao's wariness is actually kind of playing into Cao Cao's hands.
It absolutely is. That suspicion is the very thing Cao Cao wants to exploit. Ma Chao is suspicious of Cao Cao, which is natural. The trick is to redirect that suspicion toward his own ally, Han Sui.
Okay, so Ma Chao and Han Sui split their forces to watch Cao Cao. What happens next?
When Cao Cao hears they've actually done this, divided their watch, he turns to Jishu and basically says, it's working.
The plan is unfolding just as they hoped.
Exactly. The wheels are turning. The stage is set for the final decisive act of psychological warfare.
So the next day arrives. What's Cao Cao's move?
It's pure theater again, but this time much more personal. He knows Han Sui will be the one facing him that day because they're taking turns.
Right.
So Cao Cao rides out with his generals, but he positions himself deliberately alone, right in the center. Very conspicuous, easy to see.
Why do that?
Well, many of Han Sui's soldiers, they've heard of Cao, but they've never actually seen him. So they start edging forward, curious, wanting to get a look at this legendary figure.
And Cao uses this moment.
Masterfully, he shouts out to them something like, "You all want to see Duke Cao? Well, here I am. I'm just a man, not some monster with 4 eyes and 2 mouths, but I am full of wisdom."
Wow, what's the effect of saying that?
It's genius, really. He makes himself seem human, relatable, just a man, but at the same time, he subtly reinforces his reputation for intelligence, for strategy. It plants the seed of maybe respect, maybe fear in the enemy ranks.
Okay, so he's made a spectacle of himself. Then what?
Then comes the really clever part. He sends a messenger over to Han Sui's side. The message. An invitation for Han Sui to come out and have a private chat. Just the two of them.
A private chat in the middle of a standoff.
Exactly. And Han Sui looks over, sees Cao. Cao's wearing light clothes, no armor. So Han Sui mirrors him, takes off his own armor, rides out lightly dressed, just him on his horse.
Trying to show mutual trust, perhaps?
Yeah.
Or maybe not wanting to look less brave?
Could be a bit of both. It certainly creates this image of two leaders meeting almost like equals, not like commanders about to fight.
So they meet. Horses side by side. What do they talk about? This must be the core of the plot.
It is, but maybe not in the way you expect. This is the truly insidious part. They talk for about an hour. Their horses' heads are practically touching.
Okay, so what's said? Military secrets, threats, negotiations.
None of that. That's the absolute key. Cao only talks about old times. The source says he only discussed old matters in detail, did not mention military affairs.
Wait, seriously, for an hour? What kind of old matters?
He reminisces about how their fathers knew each other, how they were colleagues back in the capital years ago. He talks about their shared career paths, even comments on Han Sui getting older, saying he must be, 40 now? It's all pleasantries, shared history, zero military content.
A completely non-military chat during a military truce between opposing commanders. That is odd.
Extremely odd. And of course, someone immediately reports this back to Ma Chao. Hey, Han Sui and Cao just spent an hour talking really close, looked pretty friendly.
Oh boy. I can see where this is going. Ma Chao must have rushed right over to Han Sui.
Immediately, he demands to know, what did you talk about? What did Cao say?
And Han Sui, what is his reply?
Han Sui, maybe being completely honest, just says, we just talked about old times in the capital. That's it.
But for Ma Chao, already primed for suspicion, that answer isn't going to cut it, is it?
Not a chance, Ma Chao presses him. How could you possibly not talk about military affairs? It's the obvious question.
Right, that's the elephant in the room.
And Han Sui, maybe a bit flustered, maybe just telling the truth, says, well, Cao didn't bring it up, so why should I?
And that's it? The seed of doubt is planted.
More than planted, it just bloomed instantly. The source says, Ma Chao was highly suspicious and withdrew without a word. Boom. The disunion plot is complete. But even Cao apparently felt it wasn't yet enough to alienate the two.
Exactly. It poked at the trust, sure, but it didn't break it. Which brings up a good point. What does it actually take to go from just a nagging doubt to, full-blown certainty of betrayal, especially against family?
Yeah, that's a big leap, isn't it? Planting doubt is one thing, but convincing someone like Ma Chao, this incredibly proud warrior, that his own uncle is betraying him, that needs something more, targeted. What was it about Ma Chao that Jia Shu, the strategist, really zeroed in on?
Well, Cao needed something more insidious, definitely. And that's where Jia Shu comes in with this, frankly, brilliant plan.
Yeah.
He understood Ma Chao perfectly, described him as a man of courage, but ignorant of strategy. Powerful, yeah, but easily swayed by his emotions, not so great with the political maneuvering.
That assessment is everything, isn't it? That's the weak point.
Absolutely. So Jia Shu's idea was, on the surface, simple. Cao writes a personal letter to Han Sui. But, and here's the genius part, he deliberately smudges, erases, or alters key bits, sensitive parts of the text.
Okay, so not just a fake letter, but a damaged fake letter.
Exactly. It's not just about forging content. It's about sending something visibly compromised.
Yeah.
Because what happens when you see missing info, especially if you're already suspicious, your brain fills in the blanks, usually with the worst-case scenario, right?
Right, you assume they're hiding something terrible from you.
Precisely.
Yeah.
And Ma Chao's ignorance of strategy, his impulsiveness, made him the perfect target for this. That ambiguity becomes the weapon.
It's genuinely a masterstroke in manipulation. And Cao, he loved it, jumps right on it, writes the letter, carefully smudges the most important place, not just anywhere, but spots that would look like hidden deals were being obscured.
Making it look really suspicious.
Totally. Then he sends it over to Han Sui's camp, but does it openly, make sure people see it delivered, make sure word gets back to Ma Chao. The whole point wasn't just the letter, it was the visibly dodgy letter hitting Ma Chao right where his doubts and temper lived, like leaving perfect little breadcrumbs leading straight off a cliff.
And boom. It works exactly as planned. Someone tells Ma Chao about this letter coming in, and that existing suspicion, it just deepens. Goes from maybe a worry to, like, a certainty in his mind.
He must have blown up.
Oh, immediately. He confronts Han Sui, demands to see this letter, takes one look, sees the altered and blurred words, and you can just hear the accusation in his voice, right? He presses Han Sui, "Why are the words on this letter all messed up, blurred out?"
And Han Sui's defense is just weak.
Pitiful, yeah. He kind of mumbles, the original letter was like this. I don't know why, but Ma Chao isn't buying it for a second.
No way.
He basically scoffs. Seriously, who sends a rough draft? Don't be ridiculous. It must be you, Uncle. You're afraid I'd find out the details, so you altered them first. He even shoots down the idea Cao might have messed up. Cao, he's meticulous. He wouldn't make a mistake like this.
So Ma Chao's conviction is totally locked in now.
Completely. He accuses Han Sui straight up, "You suddenly harbor ill intentions." Even though they're supposed to be fighting Cao together, the trust, gone. Just like that. Shattered right there.
It's incredible how a visual trick, those smudges, can just override years of alliance when that seed of doubt is already there. We really do fill in the gaps with our fears, don't we?
We absolutely do. So Han Sui, he's desperate now, probably sees his life flashing before his eyes. He makes this incredibly risky, almost suicidal offer.
What is it?
It says, okay, tomorrow I'll lure Cao out onto the battlefield. We'll pretend to talk. You lie in wait, ambush him, kill him.
Wow, that's extreme.
Totally. A last-ditch effort to prove he's loyal. And Ma Chao, still furious, but maybe clinging to one last thread of hope, or maybe just wanting to see this play out, agrees. He says, fine. Only then will I see my uncle's true heart. The tension must have been unbearable. So
the next morning arrives. The stage is set for this incredibly dangerous plan. Han Sui rides out with his 5 generals, Hao Xuan, Li Kan, Liang Xing, Mao Wan. You can almost feel the tension. And Ma Chao, he's hidden, spear ready, just waiting.
It's a terrifying moment, knife-edge stuff. But here's where Cao's playing gets even smarter. It's layered. Han Sui calls out for Cao.
But Cao doesn't show.
Nope. Instead, Cao Hong, one of his top generals, rides out. But he doesn't get close. Stays a few paces off, gives this slight bow from his horse, and delivers this message. Chillingly specific, yet totally ambiguous.
What does he say?
He just says, last night the Prime Minister's message to the general, make sure there's no mistake.
Yeah.
And then turns his horse and leaves. That's it.
Oh, man. Make sure there's no mistake. Just vague enough.
But specific enough to sound like confirmation of a secret deal. And Ma Chao, who's close enough to overhear this, the source says he listened and was greatly enraged. That perfectly timed, seemingly innocent phrase just confirms everything he suspected.
The final nail in the coffin for their alliance.
Instantly, he lunges, spear first, aiming right for Han Sui. The 5 generals just manage to jump in, pull him back, drag him back to their camp before he kills his uncle right there. Utter chaos. Han Sui is horrified, pleading, "Nephew, don't suspect me. I swear I have no evil intentions." But Ma Chao, he would not believe it. He storms off, furious, completely convinced of the betrayal. The alliance isn't just cracked, it's shattered beyond repair.
And this is where things pivot, right? Han Sui is now stuck between a rock and a hard place. Ma Chao thinks he's a traitor.
Exactly. And his own generals see the writing on the wall. Yang Qi, who seems like the practical one, pulls Han Sui aside. He basically says, look, Ma Chao's too arrogant. Even if we somehow beat Cao now, Ma Chao will never share power. He's probably going to come after you anyway.
Oof. Harsh, but maybe true.
Yang Qi then suggests, let's just secretly defect to Prime Minister Cao. He assures Han Sui you'll get titles, security. It's tempting. Han Sui apparently hesitates. He feels torn because of his oath of brotherhood with Ma Ting, Ma Chao's father, who'd passed away.
That'll bond. So there's still a shred of loyalty there.
A shred, yeah. It shows that conflict, doesn't it? Loyalty versus survival. But in the end,
survival wins.
Survival wins. Yang Qi offers to be the go-between, carry a secret letter to Cao, offering surrender. Cao naturally is greatly delighted. This is exactly what he wanted.
What does he promise them?
Big stuff. Han Sui gets promised the title Marquis of Zhiliang, that's serious nobility and power. Yang Qiu is offered Grand Administrator of Yizhiliang, and the other generals get positions too. Everyone gets rewarded for betraying my Chao.
So the deal is struck. How do they coordinate?
They agree on a signal. A fire lit in Han Su's camp that night. That's the cue for Han Su's men to revolt internally, while Cao Cao's army attacks from the outside. It's amazing how quickly things escalate once trust is completely gone. One domino falls and the rest just crash down.
From psychological games to open betrayal and planned assassination, this gets dark fast.
It really does. So Han Sui sets up this celebratory banquet. The plan is to lure Ma Chao there and kill him. Kind of a classic treacherous move.
But Ma Chao, he's not easily fooled, is he?
Nope. Always alert, maybe paranoid by now. The text says he had already discovered the details. Maybe he had spies, maybe just good instincts. But he knows the banquet is a trap.
So the hunter becomes the hunted, but the prey knows. What does Ma Chao do?
He decides to strike first, takes a few loyal followers, plus his key generals Pang De and Ma Dai. These guys are crucial, and they sneak towards Han Sui's tent.
Okay, turning the tables.
Exactly. He gets there, listens in, and finds Han Sui and those 5 generals deep in discussion. He actually hears Yang Qiu urging Han Sui, no time to lose, act quickly, confirmation right there.
That's all the proof he needs.
He bursts in, absolutely furious, shouting something like, "How dare you villains conspire to harm me?" And he immediately attacks Han Sui. Han Sui throws up his left hand to block, and Ma Chao cuts it clean off, just like that. Brutal.
Wow, okay. Instant retribution.
The other 5 generals draw their swords, but Ma Chao is described as just this force of nature. Wielding his own sword, he fights all 5 of them alone in the tent. He kills Ma Wan and Ling Xing right there. The other 3, Yang Qiu included, they just flee in terror.
1 man against 5, and he takes down 2. Incredible fighter. But what about Han Sui?
Han Sui gets rescued, dragged away, injured. But just then, the signal fire erupts outside. The betrayal is now fully in motion. And Cao Cao's forces, Zhu Chu, Xu Huang, Zhao Yuan, Cao Hong, the heavy hitters, they pour in, attacking from all directions.
So it's total chaos. Han Sui's forces are caught between Ma Chao's fury inside and Cao Cao's army outside?
Complete mayhem. Ma Chao, Pang De, and Ma Dai are suddenly fighting for their lives against former allies turning on them, and Cao Cao's fresh troops flooding the camp. It's a desperate scramble.
Does Ma Chao get out?
It's incredibly close. He gets separated from Pang De and Ma Dai in the fighting. He ends up cornered on Weibridge. His horse even gets shot out from under him by a crossbowman. Things look really bad.
He's trapped. On foot.
Looks like it. Cao Cao's soldiers are closing in. But then, just in the nick of time, Pang De and Ma Dai charge in from the northwest. They rescue him, get him onto a fresh horse, and the 3 of them just carve a path out, fighting desperately to escape. It's a real testament to Ma Chao's skill, but also the loyalty of those 2 men.
They managed to break through, but the alliance is gone, the army is shattered. What's the aftermath for Ma Chao?
He escapes, but just barely. Cao Cao is furious he got away. He issues this urgent order, pursue him day or night to the death. And the rewards offered are insane.
Like what?
1,000 pieces of gold and control over 10,000 households. That's immense wealth and power for Ma Chao's head. Or, if someone brings him in alive, they get the title of Grand General. Cao Cao wants him gone. Permanently.
So Ma Chao is now a hunted fugitive.
Pretty much. He, Pang De, Ma Dai, and maybe 30 remaining riders, they have to abandon their exhausted main force. They flee towards Lintao and Longxi.
Cao Cao's, he's just finished chasing Ma Chao, and he makes this decision, seems a bit weird at first, to pull his main forces back to Chang'an.
Yeah, even Han Sui, who's lost a hand by this point, gets made Marquis of Yiliang.
And other generals like Yang Qiu, Has Wan, they get titles too, left guarding the Wei River crossing.
But just as Cao Cao is thinking, okay, time to head back to Zudu with the main army.
Someone speaks up, a voice of dissent.
Yes, Yang Fu. He was a military advisor, a Kanjun, for the Liangzhou governor. And he sees the danger immediately.
That's his warning.
He goes straight to Cao Cao and says, look, Ma Chao has this Lu Bu-like courage.
Yeah.
He's got serious backing from the Chang people. Not someone to underestimate.
Exactly. Yang Fu's message is blunt. If you don't crush Ma Chao now, he'll just get stronger and you'll lose the whole Longshan region. He's really pushing Cao Cao not to withdraw.
But Cao Cao, ever the strategist, he pushes back. He gets the threat.
Wow, he acknowledges it, but he says he has to go back. There are many issues in the Central Plains. Things in the south aren't settled. He can't stay away forever.
Makes sense from his perspective. Too many fronts.
Right. So he puts his trust in Yang Fu, tells him to protect the region. He even takes Yang Fu's advice, appoints Wei Kang as the new Lengzhou governor.
and tasks him with holding Zhicheng, promising reinforcements for Chang'an.
Yeah. And what's really fascinating is then he explains himself to his generals.
Yeah.
Because they're confused.
I bet. They're probably thinking, why to Fentong Pass, wait around, then cross north? Why not just hit Fengyi from Hedong?
Exactly. It looks like the long way around, unnecessarily complicated.
So why did he do it that way? Why all the detours?
Okay, so Cao Cao's explanation is just, it's a masterclass in indirect strategy. Psychology, really.
Lay it on us.
He says if he'd attacked Hedong first, the enemy would have locked down all the river crossings. No way to get west.
Oh, okay.
So by making a big show of massing his forces at Tong Pass, he forced them to concentrate their defenses south.
Leaving the west open.
Precisely. Left it wide open for Xu Huang and Zhu Ling to cross the river basically unopposed.
That's brilliant. So it was a massive feint. He created the weakness himself.
He absolutely did. And the deception didn't stop there. When he led his own troops north, he got even more elaborate.
Like what?
He built this covered walkway, a Yongdao, using linked wagons, fences, and then, get this, ice walls.
Bing Cheng.
Ice walls, seriously.
Yeah. But these weren't just for defense. The main point was to look weak, to make the enemy underestimate him, see his slow, careful advance, and think, he's struggling.
So it's all about messing with their heads. Complacency.
Totally. A sophisticated psychological operation. He even called it Fanjian, counter-espionage. The goal, save his own troops' strength, let the enemy get overconfident, then bam, strike like swift thunder, no time to cover one's ears.
Wow.
And his final point sums it all up. Military tactics are not rigid. Bingzi bianhua gufei ye. Strategy for him was fluid, an art.
That's incredible. It really wasn't just about numbers, was it? It was about controlling the narrative, controlling perception.
Mm-hmm.
Which brings me to another thing.
Right.
Why was he actually happy when he heard the enemy was gathering more troops? Consolidating. Most commanders would be sweating.
Right. But if you connect it to his larger strategy, it makes perfect sense. It shows how deep he was thinking.
How so?
He knew Guanzhong was huge, remote. If all those different groups, these bandits, or Quanzai as he called them, stayed scattered in their own little strongholds.
It would take forever to pacify them all.
Years, maybe. Exactly, maybe a decade. But by gathering all in one place, even though the numbers were bigger, their very multitude became their weakness. Their hearts were not united. Rinks and Bui.
Internal divisions, easier to exploit.
Precisely. He saw disunity, an opportunity to sow discord and crush them all in one go. Faster, cleaner. He didn't see a bigger threat. He saw a consolidated opportunity.
That's turning a threat completely on its head, actively wanting your enemies to group up so you can break them apart.
And his generals, they got it, they bowed and said, Prime Minister's divine strategy, none can match. Cheng Sheng Shenme Zongbujie.
So he gave him credit too, didn't he? Smart move for morale.
Classic Cao, always managing his people. So yeah, after that, big rewards for the army. He leaves Xiaohuyan guarding Chang'an with Zhongji, the new Jingzarian.
Prefect of the capital region.
Right. And then he makes this grand return to Shudu. Emperor Xin lays on the honors. Huge privileges.
Yeah, the not bowing, not hastening, wearing his sword and shoes in court.
Just like Xiao He, the legendary Han statesman, this massively solidifies Cao Cao's power. His influence truly starts to shake the world.
So what Cao Cao really shows us here, I think, is how you can create an enemy's weakness. Not just wait for one, force them together, then exploit the cracks. Pure psychological warfare.
Okay, so news of Cao Cao's power grab, it ripples outwards, shakes the world, as the text says, and it definitely reaches Han's Hong, alarming its ruler Zhang Lu.
Mm-hmm.
And this is where things get really, really interesting, because Zhang Lu's setup is, well, it's not your standard ancient Chinese state.
Not at all. Zanlu, the Han prefect, he's a unique figure. His power comes directly from his family history. His grandfather, Zhang Ling, founded a Taoist sect right there in Sichuan.
Creating texts that the source says misled people, but his followers totally revered them.
Exactly. And his father, Zhang Heng, kept it going. Followers donated 5 du of rice, being like a measure of grain.
Which led to that nickname, right? Rice bandits, Smees.
Yeah.
Kind of catchy, if a bit harsh. A bit, yeah. So Zhang Lu takes over, calls himself Chijun, Master Lord, his followers, Gizu, goat soldiers, their leaders, Tiju, libationers.
It sounds like a cult, almost, but it was more than that. It was a functioning state, wasn't it? With this whole governance system built around Chengxin, integrity, and honesty.
It really was. And the details are fascinating. Like for healing, sick people would go into quiet rooms, reflect on their mistakes, confess.
Viciously. Self-reflection is medicine.
Sort of. Then prayers were offered using these 3 documents, Sangwon Shushu, one each for heaven, earth, and water. A special priest, sometimes called a Jinling Jiju, led the prayers.
If you got better?
You made a thank offering, 5 dew of rice, naturally.
Of course. And it wasn't just spiritual stuff, right? There was social welfare.
Yeah, these yish righteous houses, they gave out free rice, firewood, even meat. Travelers could just take what they needed.
Wow. Free supplies. What was the catch?
The catch was divine punishment. There was a warning. Those who take too much will suffer divine punishment. Duokuzi shotianzu. Pretty effective, I imagine.
I'll bet. Keeps people honest. And the justice system. Also unusual.
Incredibly lenient for the time. You got 3 pardons for offenses before they actually punished you. And no regular officials, judges, stuff like that. Everything was managed by the Jiju, these priest administrators.
Okay, so this raises a big question, doesn't it? How did this system, faith, honesty, free food, second chances, how did it let Zhonglu dominate Hanzong for 30 years in that chaotic era?
It's remarkable. The state basically left him alone, just asked for tribute because Hanzong was so remote. It suggests maybe this system created a kind of stability, a social contract based on shared belief, not just force.
What stands out to you about this? I mean, a self-governing Taoist mini-state running on totally different principles?
Mm-hmm.
It really makes you think about what holds a society together. Okay, so Cao Cao's getting stronger, casting this huge shadow. Zhang Lu gets nervous, understandably, thinks maybe he should declare himself king of Hanning to stand up to Cao Cao.
A bold move, probably a foolish one given Cao Cao's recent victory.
But then, just like with Cao Cao, an advisor steps in, changes everything.
Yep, Yan Pu. His advice is pure strategy. He steers Zhang Lu away from a direct fight with Cao Cao, which, let's be honest, would likely have been suicide.
What's his logic?
Yan Pu points out Hanzong's strengths. 100,000 households, lots of resources, good natural defenses. Plus, and this is key, Nan Machao's defeat just sent thousands, tens of thousands of refugees from Zhejiang pouring into Hanzong through the Ziwu Valley.
So Zhang Lu's actually stronger now, population-wise.
Potentially, yes. More people, more potential soldiers. So Yan Pu says, don't pick a fight with Cao Cao. Look south.
To Yizu, Sichuan.
Exactly. Exploit Lu Zhang's known weakness there. Take Sichuan's 41 prefectures first. Build a secure base. Then declare yourself king.
Smart. Much lower risk, much higher potential reward.
Zhang Lu loves it. He's delighted, the text says. Starts planning the invasion with his brother Zhang Wei right away.
Which puts the spotlight squarely on the guy they're targeting, Lu Zhang.
Right. Son of Li Yan, technically Han royalty, but his family history with Zhang Lu is messy.
Very messy. Lu Zhang had actually killed Zhang Lu's mother and brother. So there's bad blood there, a deep feud.
A really deep feud. And compounding that, Lu Zhang himself isn't exactly known for being tough. The sources describe him as a nuoro.
Cowardly. Weak.
Something like that. Not the kind of leader you want when facing an invasion fueled by personal vengeance.
Oof. No. So you've got this blood feud, a leader perceived as weak. It's a bad combination for Lu Zhang.
Definitely. And we learn that Peng Ji, the prefect Lu Zhang, put in charge of defending Baxi against Zhang Lu, sends word they're planning to invade.
Which naturally causes Lu Zhang great anxiety. He's worried.
The stage is perfectly set. Rich lands, weak ruler, ambitious neighbor with a grudge. Classic setup for conflict.
But then, just when it looks like curtains for Lu Zhang, the chapter throws in a cliffhanger.
A mysterious advisor appears, steps forward.
And makes this incredibly bold claim, says that with just his 3-inch unrotten tongue, Sankun Bulan Zishi.
Meaning just his powers of persuasion.
Right. He can stop Zhang Lu from even looking at Sichuan. Just talk him out of it.
It's such a great narrative hook. Builds massive anticipation.
Totally. And the final lines of the chapter just hammer it home.
Yeah, that couplet. Only because the Shu strategist advanced did the Jingzhou hero arrive.
It basically screams this little regional conflict. It's about to get way bigger. It's going to pull in the major players.
A classic sign that the story is expanding, connecting these seemingly separate threads into the larger Three Kingdoms narrative.